Okay, so Elgato just dropped the Facecam 4K, and what's the big deal? I'm gonna tell you. First, I want to talk about the little things. I want to tell you about the packaging, the specs, so you can compare it with the Facecam Pro, or other webcams on the market. Then, I want to talk about something that I think is a pretty big deal. Then, right after that, we will plug it in and actually test it to see what it looks like, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Alright, so unboxing it, you'll see there's a proper effort to be sustainable here. Recycled and recyclable materials all over. No unnecessary plastics. The design is pretty nice, still pretty unique when it comes to a webcam, but this time you're gonna see that the lens part is pretty huge. Stay with me now, stay focused. The monitor stand attaches with this little T-nut. It's the universal 1/4 inch thing, so any photography equipment you have will be compatible. It fits all of my tripods and monopods. At the back you will find the USB port. It is USB 3.0, and the little vent because it gets warm. Also comes with an Elgato braided cable, that's USB-C to USB-C. Great stuff. Alright, specs. We're talking about 4K 60 FPS. 4K 60 FPS, which is pretty wild for a webcam, and this 60 is very smooth. It does support HDR at 4K 30. It rocks a Sony sensor. It's the Starvis 2, if that means anything to you. And the focus is fixed, meaning that it's not gonna battle for focus like other webcams do. At some lower resolutions, you can get uncompressed video, if that's something you're looking for. And the Elgato staple, flash memory, meaning that your settings are actually saved onto the webcam physically. So unplug, replug it, turn off your computer, bring it back. Your settings are saved. Now, before we move on to the thing that I said was a huge deal to me, I would like to confess, we've been using the webcam the whole time. This is the quality that you get with the webcam. Now, this is a studio camera, so you need to blast a bunch of light at it. Right now, I have a softbox. I have a key light mini, actually, to do a little catch light. I have 3 different RGB projectors for the colors behind me, and then just an LED strip on my shelf here. So yeah, this is the quality that you can expect. We are at 4K 60 FPS, recording in OBS Studio right now, and yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea of how it handles light and focus and all that stuff. When I say they have a fixed focus, it's actually optimized to keep you in focus no matter what. So from that distance, let me see. From that distance, for example, this is pretty much in focus to bring you here, still in focus, still in focus, still in focus. And if you're showing something to your camera, and I have it like about like a hand away from it, this is where you might start losing, but the details are still pretty visible, right? The big deal. What is the big deal? So the reason why we have this big round thing up front here is because this is a universal, like, photography thread. Meaning that actual photography lens caps and filters will screw into this webcam, which is so wild. Now you might be thinking, okay, what kind of filters am I gonna put on my webcam? There's a lot, actually. And Elgato was nice enough to send me a bunch, so I'm gonna show you some examples. I actually filmed a bunch of examples with my DSLR. So if you see, you know, shallow depth of field and stuff like that, that's gonna be my DSLR, but I'm just showcasing the lenses. And the thread on this is 49 millimeters, and my DSLR happens to be 52 millimeters. So it's not compatible, but it actually fits inside of my DSLR lens. So it was pretty fun to just place them on my DSLR. Now, from what I understand, Elgato plans on making maybe 1 or 2 lenses, but for the rest, you can just find them anywhere, really. It's like a photography standard, so you can buy them for super cheap or for super expensive, depending on how you want your webcam to look. One of the useful ones is a CPL lens, and this one comes with a lens cap, and the lens cap is magnetic. And if you're wondering what a CPL lens does, I'm just gonna demonstrate. So yeah, it's a lens that will greatly reduce screen reflections in your glasses, for example. I know a lot of people live stream, for example, with their glasses, and they don't want all the reflection to show all the time. This is great, and it is a circular lens, so you can adjust it like that. And you can see it kind of affecting every reflection, actually. You see the mic in the headset? That is so trippy. You can also get some pretty stylized ones. This one is a Starlight Glare. This one is also circular and adjustable, meaning that you can position the effect exactly how you want it. And if you really want to see what type of effect it's giving, I'm gonna use my flashlight on my phone. So depending if you have any bright spots, I thought the little fairy lights in the back would actually work, but seems like it's not bright enough. So if you have any bright spots in your lighting, it can give that pretty cool effect right there. All right, some fun ones again. We have 3 different starlights. So this is 4 stars, 6 stars, and 8 star. I mean, I'm calling them like that, but it's star 4, star 6, star 8. Also, they're all adjustable. So if you want a specific position, look at that. You can, you can just twist it a little bit and put it wherever you want to have the angle that you prefer. This makes me want to put more motivated lights. It's like more lights facing the camera. Here we have a retro soft filter. Ooh, okay, that's an interesting effect. Look at that. Wow. Here we have all sorts of filters. Look at that. I'm not supposed to put them all together like that, but we have some macro filters in there. This one is called close-up ×2 or +2. Yeah, it zooms in a little bit, but that looks great. We don't lose any quality. Look at my skin. What? We don't lose any quality. Whoa. If I was using this as my main camera, this would be on all the time. Close up +1. Are we getting depth of field? Like, is the... You can't tell the difference. The lens is on there. Like, I mean, when in terms of quality, you can't tell the difference. It is zoomed in. Oh, there's minimum distortion on the sides too. Impressive. Close up +4. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, just like DSLR lenses, we start getting a little bit of distortion when you're trying to push it a little too much. In this case, the focus point actually is different, but if I'm not mistaken, I would have to be here to be in focus, and look at the background. So I'm in focus, and now we actually get depth of field. Maybe a little too close for comfort, but what other webcams will give you hardware that gives you this effect? Isn't that wild? Oh, this is nice. This is actually pretty cool. So yeah, if we push it a lot, you do get, you know, chromatic aberration and distortion on the sides, but hey, that could be a look. That could be a whole thing. This is so cool. I think you can probably combine them together to do some wacky stuff. This is close-up +10. Oh God. Safe to say at this point, we are in macro territory. This could be cool if you're trying to show off products, for example. You want to put them really close to the camera. Look at that. Look at... My nails are awful. I don't want to show you my nails, but look at that. Look at that. Look at this quality. This is a webcam. We're getting this quality from a webcam right now with one tiny little filter. And it's a webcam that has fixed focus, which means, yeah, like when you move your hand, it's not going to focus on your face, but still, you can do this. If you record things like unboxing and tech reviews, you can have that quality with a webcam, and it's 4K 60 FPS. Look at the fairy lights, which is usually what I use them for. You see that little bokeh effect? That's wild. That is wild. That is one useful webcam right there. I combined close-up 4 and close-up 2. That's the result. Okay, I combined all of them together to create this abomination. What is happening? But look at the macro potential. Look at that. Oh my. Oh my. So if you want to show off something, may I remind you, this is a webcam. This is a webcam. You're getting this quality with a webcam. Okay, we're getting experimental in here. All that to say that all sorts of filters exist for that type of stuff. Those are photography filters. But on top of that, you might be able to combine a couple of them. Imagine the retro one plus the starlight one. The possibilities are endless. Okay, so we talked a lot about the hardware. To me, that was the most important thing. But as usual, one of the biggest strengths of Elgato as a company is their software. I'm not going to go into depth because this is not the first webcam they make. If you don't know about their camera hub software, learn about it, but most likely you already do. So I'm going to go through this very, very fast. So Of course, you can zoom, pan, tilt. Those are not things that I personally use, so I'm gonna skip over that. A lot of it can be integrated with NVIDIA stuff. For example, they have the face tracking stuff here. You have to download in NVIDIA SDK, I believe it's called. If you want extra camera settings, especially when managing your colors, you have contrast, saturation built right in here. You can really make it look the way you want. So much detail in the shadows. Saturate it a little bit. Hell yeah. And also bump up the sharpness a little bit. Exposure can be automatic. I have it on manual right now because, you know, I'm using proper lights and stuff. But if you have it on automatic, in my case, I have a very, very bright light. But let's say that I didn't have this soft box on my face. It would be useful. It would actually try to figure out your lighting condition and try to make it appropriate. But in my case, I don't need it. I also like to be able to control my own shutter speed and my ISO. I like to keep my ISO really low, which is why it might be a little dark, but it introduces less noise, visual noise, which is something that there's a noise reducer in Elgato. Let's go fast, let's go fast. Dynamic range is something that I'm gonna have to play with. I feel like I might be able to give you a better example if I had sunlight. I do not have sunlight right now, but basically it would help flatten some images sometimes, because no matter what you do, if you have like bright lights like this, for example, it might be too high contrast and you might have your background be completely white because you're trying to expose for yourself, or vice versa, right? Like you're dark because you don't want the background to be too bright. White balance, also important. In my case, I always keep it manual because it's going to try to adjust to my lights, and my lights have all sorts of colors, so it doesn't know what's white and what's not. Then under processing, we have noise reduction. So that is if you have like visual color noise. For example, you don't have a lot of light and your ISO is like all the way up. Oh God. You can see those dark areas all around me. You can see that visual noise. That's what noise reduction is for. But since we don't really have that problem because we have enough light, we should be fine. If you have access to NVIDIA Broadcast, you can blur the background. You can put a different background, basically it cuts you out as if you had a green screen, which is pretty cool. And then there's LUTs. LUTs or lookup tables are basically color tables that you can apply, kind of like filters, but a little more advanced than just Instagram filters. And a cool thing here is that, okay, it comes with a couple of them. Let's say that you want more, you can click on add and you can go find them on the Elgato marketplace. And then from there, you have access to all sorts of LUTs created by Elgato, created by the community. I need to stop procrastinating and actually add mine in there. And finally, if you have an Elgato prompter, it is compatible. I do not have one, so I can't really answer questions about this one. And that's it. That's it. It's getting super hot in here. If you want to buy one, there will be an affiliate link in the description. If there are stuff that you want me to test with it while I have it, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Go out there, make me proud, get level, out.